Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing about how tempeh is manufactured. So what is basically the tempeh? Tempeh is basically nothing. It is a soy food. It is a staple protein source from the past 100 to 200 years in Indonesia. It is a soy food. It is basically made from the controlled fermentation in which we use inoculum. We use Rhizopus oligosporus, that is a mold. We use it as a starter here, and Indonesians consume the tempeh in the form of cut slices, cubes, and they also deep fry it and use in the soup, salad or sandwiches. So there are various types of tempeh on the basis of from which they are made from. Like for example, here there is a tempeh godhong that is made from the banana leaves. There is another tempeh gambus that is made from the ladyfinger. The local name of ladyfinger is okra, as you all know. There is another tempeh bongkrek. It is made from the coconut. So these are the various types of the tempeh that you can have it. So let's have a look about the starter, the inoculum, in which class it belongs. So we use the starter or inoculum, that is Rhizopus oligosporus. It comes under the category of fungi and the class Zygomycetes, and its spores are large in shape and its shape varies from the subglobose to the globose shape. There are various special features about the Rhizopus that you must be aware of. That it also produces the antibiotic that limits the growth of Staphylococcus aureus. It can also treat the waste and as well as the wastewater, and it also produces the various industrial enzymes like asparginase and the other enzymes. And it also ferments the legumes and cereals as well. There are various another features of the Rhizopus. For example, it has a high germinability. Like the spores of Rhizopus have high power of germinability, and due to the mycelia, the soybeans become compressed. And these are basically the features of Rhizopus oligosporus. And due to these features only, we use in the tempeh manufacturing. Now let's have a look about the whole production or manufacturing process of the tempeh. So what we do is, firstly, the cracking of soybeans. So while buying a grain mill, consider that you can also use the dehulled soybeans to make the soy meal. So you will cut down this step, dehulling, if you have the already dehulled the soybeans. So firstly, we crack the soybeans, and soybeans are cracked in half by grain mill, and then the industrial tempeh producer normally buy the dehulled soybeans because it doesn't consume time so much. So after cracking of the soybeans, they are soaked for about 6 to 18 hours in almost 2 liters of water, and then they are stirred gently. So if they are stirred gently, then it will cause dehulling. So after dehulling, the soybeans are cooked in the presence of vinegar for about 30 minutes, and the water is drained off, and then the dry soybeans are heated for about few minutes, and then they are cooled for about few minutes to room temperature, to 35 degrees Celsius. And after this whole process till cooking, then they are inoculated with the mold that I talked earlier, that is Rhizopus oligosporus. That is the starter that is responsible for the fermentation. So after the inoculation of Rhizopus oligosporus, it is very much important to mix it so that it distributes uniformly. So in order to decrease the risk for spoilage and to increase the fermentation rate, we need to mix it properly. Then there will be incubation for about 36 to 48 hours at about 30 degrees Celsius, and thus fermentation occurs. And How we will get to know that fermentation is completed? Whenever we see there is a formation of white mycelia, then it means the fermentation is completed and we have manufactured the tempeh. So this was all about the production process or the manufacture process of the tempeh. Now what are the advantages of tempeh? So here you can have a look about certain advantages, like for example, we can produce the natural antibiotics. Why natural? Because soybean is natural. We are not producing artificially. So you can produce the natural antibiotics, and it contains a lot more of nutrients like calcium, various vitamins like folic acids. It also have fibers, fatty acids, saponins, the secondary metabolites such as saponins, isoflavonoids also present in it. So it is very rich source of nutrient, and as I mentioned earlier, it is a very staple protein source. And it also prevents from cancer, and it also decreases the diarrhea, and it also lowers the cholesterol. So if the cholesterol is lower, then it will obviously lower the risk of heart diseases as well. So how the tempeh after the manufacturing thing, how the tempeh is preserved? So there are basically 4 processes through which you can preserve the tempeh. You can either sun dry, you can also dry in the hot air oven whose temperature is 69 degrees Celsius. You can also freeze it under the temperature minus 15 degrees Celsius, or you can also deep fry it and have in sauces or sandwiches and salads. And this was all about the tempeh thing. So we read about what is tempeh, their types, and about the rhizopus, and about the production process. Like firstly, soybeans are cracked, soaked, dehulled, cooked, inoculated with rhizopus, mixed, incubated and fermented, and thus we get the tempeh. And then we talked about the advantages and the various preservation methods of tempeh. So this was all about the tempeh manufacturing process. Thank you. I hope it helped you.